Food inflation spiked sharply higher in January from 4.19% in December to 5.94%. And from the looks of it, the early data indicate that February food inflation could be higher at 6.1%. That's according to economists whom we polled. The culprits are two items of widespread consumption: cereals and milk products. Cereal inflation rose by 16.2% in January, and the CNBC-TV18 poll shows it may rise to over 17% in February. Likewise, milk and milk product prices that surged by 8.79% in January will be likely up by 9.08% in February. Also impacting the food price psyche is the lower stocks of grains with the Food Corporation of India at 32.4 million tons as of mid-February versus 54 and 56 million tons in previous Februaries. The final blow appears to be the weather. An unusually hot February is feared to have hurt the rabi crop, especially crops like wheat, while the meteorological department predicts that March too could be hotter than normal. So what's the state of the rabi harvest, and what will be the food stock and the food price situation in the next 2 quarters before we start thinking about the Kharif crop coming in? These are the questions we are asking, and joining us to answer them are Professor Ramesh Chand, the agricultural expert from the NITI Aayog, Harish Damodaran, the rural affairs and agricultural editor from the Indian Express, and Ajay Jakhar, chairman of the Bharat Krishak Samaj, the man who knows where the shoe pinches or where the sickle hurts. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Professor Chand, I'm going to ask the same question to all three of you actually. I want your estimate of the wheat crop and the food grain crop in general. Is the weather likely to have hurt it?
I think media is exaggerating impact of higher temperature on output of food grain in Rabi season. No doubt we are having a maximum temperature which is 2 to 3 degrees Celsius higher than what is the average of past several years in some parts of the country. But my discussions with agriculture scientists reveal that unless this increase is more than 6 degrees Celsius, and that too in minimum temperature, not so much in maximum temperature, we should not worry about its impact on production of wheat crop and mustard and chickpea. These are the three main food crop of Rabi season. Yes, March is the month which create lot of uncertainty for Rabi crops. We normally have hailstorms in many parts of the country, and if temperature shoots up like it shoots up last year by more than 10 degrees Celsius. So if that kind of shock happen, then certainly there will be concern and there will be strong adverse effect. But the way things are going, that temperature being slightly higher, I consider it as a normal kind of deviation. To my mind, it is not a serious aberration in temperature.
Oh, that's good to hear, sir. And I don't think this was misinformation by the press. We actually heard from the IMD. And therefore, the expectation, the fear was that it might affect the crop. Onion crop was anyway affected, and that perhaps gave rise to fears about other crops. Mr. Jakhar, would you broadly agree that the wheat output in particular, and not just wheat, even mustard, a very important rabi crop, are in fine fettle?
I agree with Dr. Ramesh Chandji. I think there is not going to be much impact of the temperature being higher for a few days or a week or so in January and February. At the moment, I have absolutely no fear of less wheat stocks. And all this speculation that the wheat will be less, it's too early to speculate. I think so. It's just markets always look for conspiracies and issues. I think.
Oh, right.
There's nothing to worry about. From the ground, I can tell you that.
Oh, that's music to our ears. we are more worried about the food prices. So let me come to that. But before that, Harish, I assume that you are picking up much the same, since the two experts have indicated that weather is not going to impact the wheat crop. But more importantly, the stocks of food grains. Let me come to that question. The stocks that FCI has is nowhere near what it was in previous Februaries. Can that impact trader psychology and put an upward momentum on prices?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. But I agree with both Professor Ramesh Chand and Ajay Jakhar that, I think according to me, the wheat crop looks very good as of now. Okay. And so long as your maximum temperatures don't cross 35 degrees, I think it should be okay. And let me say that even last year, the crop looked very good till mid March. So what happened last year was a sudden spike, so it's the delta which makes a difference. Say in 1 week, suddenly temperatures go up by about 5 degrees. So I remember last year on 18th of March, I was in Jhajjar and I saw it was 38 degrees, So that is a shock, whereas I think early 30s should not be a problem. And right now, actually, the grain filling has started. So I think as long as the temperatures remain, below 35 degrees, I think it should be fine, and maybe a couple of western disturbances will help, sort of cool, but definitely, yes, February was a worry, that everybody thought that, the temperatures will really, if February itself is a record, what will be March?
Yeah, Mr. Jakhar, no, one minute, Harish. The IMD also forecast higher than 40 degrees in several states, if I remember right, Gujarat, Vidarbh, Rajasthan. So, Ajay Jakhar, if March has, an unusually high temperature, over 40 degrees, will that be a matter of concern?
I think so. Any abbreviation in weather in March will be a problem. But how big a problem is, we're just guessing. Like I wouldn't trust the IMD's forecasting for next month to say that it's going to be over 40 degrees.
No, in some places,
no,
they say.
No. Yes, some places means a very general term. Some places it could be a few districts or
If I remember,
but as a country,
if I remember right, it was Rajasthan, Gujarat, Vidarbh. I remember those three regions for sure. But I guess those are not heavy wheat growing regions, so it doesn't matter.
No, it's not about wheat, but what I'm trying to say is that it's too early to guess. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay. And even if there is a heat wave, I think we will not have a food security problem.
Okay.
Even if there is a heat wave, we have enough. The wheat crop is very good.
Okay.
Even if it's affected by a few percentage points, we'll still have a lot of wheat. The sowing of wheat has been substantially higher because of good market prices.
Okay. Okay, that's excellent news for the future as well, for the coming quarters. Mr. Chand, what I was asking Harish, and I'll go back to him on that, the stocks. Food Corporation of India stocks at the moment are much lower than they used to be in previous Februaries. Almost half of what it was, 32 million tons, I understand, wheat stocks with FCI. 32 is the total. The wheat stock is 15 million tons and the rice stock is about 16 million tons. That looks like a fairly low compared to the previous 3-4 years. Would that be a matter of worry? Would that have a psychological uptick in prices?
As long as stocks do not go below what is the norm, minimum stock, I think it does not cause too much impact. And also, we are already in the month of March now, and you will see that in a few days the procurement of wheat will start. So, if there is a good amount of procurement, unlike last year, the stock can be even replenished. So just in the month of March, when procurement is about to start, stocks can go low. I think that if crop is normal and there's a normal kind of procurement, stocks of particularly wheat, they will be replenished. But I would say that, like last year, if story gets spoiled in the March, particularly in the second fortnight of March, then it's a different matter. But that is totally uncertain. We can't say anything about that at this point of time. So at this point of time, I think things do not look worrisome as far
Concerning.
as this production and market arrival of wheat is concerned.
Procurement, you fear can be impacted if market prices are higher, or is the worries more about the quantity of output of the harvest? Mr. Chand, what might impact procurement?
I feel that there will be some pressure on price. It is not that pressure will not be there. And we are just seeing that after government released some quantity of wheat under
Yes.
OMS, prices have cooled down. Whether it will have a bit lasting impact or not, that is yet to be seen. My take on that is that if open market prices of wheat say are higher than MSP, government has a option of considering paying bonus to the farmers.
Okay.
That is the practice which has been adopted quite often in the past also.
Okay.
So this is the mechanism that prices are now close to, not at, close to MSP, and if they are somewhat higher, that can be taken care by considering
bonus.
appropriate amount of bonus for wheat. One more thing, the
Yes.
statistics you present about 16-17% increase in price of cereal, that's the retail price.
Yes,
I
sir.
still feel that the impact of cooling down of wholesale prices has not yet transmitted to a retail level. There, at a retail level, we are seeing that the inflation in cereal is much less.
Okay.
The number thing is for retail, and it always happens with some time lag. So I expect March story in even retail prices of cereal to be different than what we have seen in January and February.
Oh, okay. That will be a very, very big relief because that will mean that the Reserve Bank will not have to go to an overdrive on interest rates. Mr. Jakhar, what is your best assessment of procurement? Will the prices be good enough for the farmer to hand it over to the government? Do you expect a bonus to be required? And your best guess, therefore, on prices as well.
So it's interesting that Ramesh Chandji should talk about a bonus, because this government has been saying for the last 7 years that no bonus, no state should even be giving a bonus. The difference is last year we entered March with huge stocks of wheat and paddy, but this year the stocks are limited. So obviously the government is being practical and may offer a bonus should the price go up. I have no doubt that the government will be able to meet its procurement targets if it gives a bonus, or if there's no crisis, then even without a bonus, it will be able to meet. But what we need to see is fodder prices for animal husbandry. That's where I think this heat wave that came in February or January, this little sprouts of heat, or what is being projected, will have more of an impact on fodder and animal husbandry, which is a crucial part of the agricultural landscape. I think that's where the worry is today. We may have a worry on wheat productivity in March, but I'm very worried about animal husbandry and fodder at the moment. That's where I think the real worry is, which impacts the livelihoods of small farmers, landless farmers, marginal farmers. That's the real worry.
I thank you, sir, for outguessing my next question, which was indeed milk. Yes.
Let me just finish.
Sure.
The other part is that for the last 10 years from my own farm, I have seen that wheat straw prices always double up every year. I keep telling farmers this: the best investment is to keep wheat straw. You harvest your wheat, you keep your straw, you sell it after 8 months, you'll double the value. Okay. And last year, surprisingly, the price went up by 4 times or 5 times.
Absolutely.
Normally it goes up. And this is what I worry about, is that fodder prices are going to rise substantially. And I don't think so the government has a plan for it.
Mr. Jakhar, thank you very much for preempting my question. I was going to bring milk production and milk prices as a very key element that is abetting food inflation. But we have to take a break. But after the break, we'll again engage with our experts to check whether, if not cereals, whether milk inflation will lead to higher food inflation and what steps the government can take on both. Back in a minute.